Hey guys, this is Skip Orth, candidate for District 3 Florida State Representative. And in this blog today, what I wanted to talk to you about is my biggest concern for Second Amendment rights and what I feel is the biggest threat to our Second Amendment rights. But before I talk about that, I just wanted to show you something pretty cool. Okay, so this is the very first gun I ever owned. It's a Daisy BB gun, and I got it when I was 8 years old, and I've had it ever since. Isn't that cool? It has a solid wood stock. You know, they don't make them like that anymore. And I remember going to the department store with my dad and picking out that gun and bringing it home, and I was so excited. But before we even did that, my dad gave me a thorough instruction on gun safety. How you always point the muzzle of the gun down or up. As you're turning, you never point the gun in a direction of someone or something that you don't intend to shoot. And when you pick up a gun, always check to see if it's loaded. So he made sure I was well acquainted with those gun safety rules before we went out and bought my very first BB gun. So I just have very fond memories of that event. So anyway, on to what I think is the biggest threat we have today to our Second Amendment rights. I don't think it's legislation. I don't think the biggest threat to our Second Amendment rights is outlawing assault-type weapons or legislation that's going to restrict us, although that is a concern. But I think the biggest threat to our Second Amendment rights is a movement now that is taking place to sue gun manufacturers for the destruction that happens when someone misuses their products. And the whole logic behind that is really ridiculous, because that would be like saying if someone takes a gun and commits a crime with it, and then you're able to sue the gun manufacturer, that's like taking a kitchen knife, stabbing someone, and then the victim or victim's family is able to sue the manufacturer of the kitchen knife. When they manufacture the kitchen knife to prepare vegetables and cook dinner, somebody misuses that, but because they misused it, somehow the company that manufactured that product is now liable. And here's why I think that's so dangerous and why it's one of the biggest threats that we have, is that the gun debate, the Second Amendment debate, is now no longer simply a debate over rights, but you have involved money with that, within that debate. And you have incentivized people with money to go after the gun manufacturers in kind of a twisted logic kind of way. So unscrupulous people who are willing to trade our Second Amendment rights for money are now trying to make it legal to sue gun manufacturers for when people misuse their products. And like I just explained, that's crazy. So what I'm afraid of is, number one, gun manufacturers, do I think they'll go out of business? Some of the smaller ones might if they get sued. But what will happen with the larger ones is they won't go out of business. However, they will have to add $100, $200, whatever the amount is, to the price of each of their products. So the cost to the consumer of weapons. Now, if you go out and purchase a weapon to protect yourself or your family, now you're going to pay $100, $200 or more for that purchase. So the cost of weapons is going to be prohibitive for some people. They're not going to be able to obtain the tools that they need to protect themselves and to protect their family. So I know this is not necessarily a state issue, but it is a concern of mine, and we need to be very vigilant, because I think that's the Trojan horse that's going to come in. If there is one that we need to, that's going to come in and try to take away our Second Amendment rights, because they're not going to do it directly. They know they can't win that fight because there's so many gun owners here in the United States. But if they can shut down or at least inhibit the weapons manufacturers, then that's going to affect us with our rights. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you this morning. Appreciate your input. Please go to my website, voteskipOrth.com, and see more of my blogs, see more of my content. And also on there, I have copies of my books that I've written that you can order. So have a great day.